We began here. In the aftermath of the Great Depression and World War II, Americans looked around their communities and began to build for tomorrow. In 1946, Edith Hay Wyckoff, the owner and editor of the Locust Valley Leader, noticed boys playing on the railroad tracks and decided they needed a safer place to play. Edith encouraged the boys to form a club and offered her office as a meeting place, while the boys played on borrowed fields hoping for a place of their own. Locust Valley resident Millward Pidge Martin learned about the club and made an appeal to his friends and fellow civic leaders Sherman Pratt and R. Brinkley Smithers. They and Edith Wyckoff formed a board, and the Associated Boys Clubs of Locust Valley was born. Finding land with space for both athletic fields and a clubhouse was the biggest challenge. The new board wrote letters to friends asking them to become founding members and appealing to the community for their support. Donations poured in, and it seemed as if the club's prayers were answered when Mr. and Mrs. Hunt Dickinson graciously offered to donate 6 acres at the corner of Rye Field and Birch Hill Road. Zoning laws, however, would not allow the land to be used for the club, so the search continued. In 1949, Mrs. George F. Baker offered to donate $31,000 to purchase land on Forest Avenue and Weir Lane in order to build a clubhouse to memorialize her son, Grenville Baker. Grenville had served his country heroically during World War II, earning the Distinguished Flying Cross, and had been killed in Florida earlier that year. By December of 1950, the Grenville Baker Boys Club was built and dedicated. In June of that year, inspired by the community's support, the club's board of directors envisioned an annual fundraiser that would be as fun as it was profitable. "Let's have a party and we will host it," said the first club president Sherman Pratt and his wife, and so the tradition began, with generous donors graciously offering to host each year. The proceeds of the first June dance in 1950 covered 1 year of operating expenses for the young club. Over the years, debutantes and royalty came to our party. It became the club's biggest fundraiser. The unprecedented success of those first years has continued through the decades with expansion of our membership, our facilities, and our programming. In 1955, the club added a full gymnasium to the clubhouse, financed through the generous and enthusiastic donations of board members, the George F. Baker Trust, and a long list of friends from the community. That same year, the club added a sleepaway camp in Canada, and these Pratt camps were a tradition for 30 years. This rustic setting with outdoor activities provided club members with a lifetime of memories. By 1959, the overgrown expanse behind the club, once known lovingly as Rat Stadium by the local boys, had been cleared and landscaped into the Cushing Memorial Athletic Fields, providing the boys a place to play football and other sports. Further donations allowed the club to build the Sherman Pratt Memorial Wing in 1964, which featured a senior room, woodshop, kitchen, and rifle range. That steady, solid growth never stopped. The annual clothing sale began a year later in the backyard of Mrs. T. Ritter's home on Feeks Lane. Through the hard work of volunteers and the generosity of donors, the sale has become the club's second largest fundraiser. A golf and tennis tournament and a clam bake also became cherished annual events that helped raise much-needed funds for the club. In 1981, the club welcomed girls to their membership, merging with the Girls Club of Locust Valley. This addition led to an expansion in 1983 to make room for the new members. In 1995, a computer lab and a learning center were added, and 2003 brought an expansion that included a second gymnasium. The club has grown from 200 members in 1950 to more than 1,500 members today. Over the last 65 years, the dedication of our community and the spirit of our club have never wavered. Athletics, fitness, and recreation are all still at the mission's core, but the club has adapted along with our community. Over 80 programs are offered, with more than 500 members participating in the basketball program alone. Over 200 kids come to the club each day to participate in homework help, digital arts, college prep, and more. The club offers scholarships, leadership clubs, museum trips, life drawing, and science club. Our June dance has continued to, organized each year by the dedicated volunteers who donate their time and unique talents. Partygoers in the 1980s benefited from the creativity of Susan Ely, who designed the journal covers and made collages of loyal supporters who attended, and some who didn't. For 65 years, the Grenville Baker Boys and Girls Club has been serving the children of Locust Valley and the surrounding communities, thanks to the gifts of generous donors. These gifts are an investment in the children of our community and in the future of our country. Every June, we go back, Back to how it all began. Back to the positive spirit of the community from which our club was born. For 65 years, Grenville Baker Boys and Girls Club. Great futures start here.